Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Tom Spark. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about what are the most private and anonymous VPNs. Hey guys, just to be clear in this video, if you want to help support the channel and videos like these, where I rate VPNs objectively by a specific set of criteria to help you choose the best one, consider clicking on some of my affiliate links in the description and pinned comment down below. Most of these links will activate some kind of discount if there is one available, so that will also help you out. I'm going to be picking some of my top 6 VPNs and comparing some of the privacy and anonymity backend stuff of those VPNs. Now, no VPN is perfectly anonymous and private, and a lot of people say for that reason alone, you shouldn't use VPNs. But that's kind of a dumb argument. At the end of the day, VPNs are not perfect tools to protect your privacy and anonymity, but they're one of the best ways to do so. They encrypt your internet connection, they hide your IP address, and they give you more privacy from your internet service provider. They also let you do things like unblock geo restrictions. They can help your data stay more secure while traveling. They can protect your IP while gaming and various other things when connected to your IP. They can also be very useful for remoting into a location. There are examples of being able to create your own VPN in your own home network, and other VPNs do allow remote VPN capabilities using their services to remote into your home connection, which is more of a power user situation, but still a useful thing you can do with VPNs. So today we're going to be talking about some of the most anonymous and privacy friendly VPNs. I picked my 6 VPNs since they're the highest rated ones. Now there might be some other VPNs that could be considered on this list, but they don't meet the criteria of the tier list system, whether that be they're not fast enough, they're a little too expensive, or something probably along those lines. So guys, I did go ahead and made a breakdown here, and let's go ahead and make that bigger for you guys. All right guys, so pretty much what we have here is a list of qualifications. We're going to get rid of this conditional rule set, and we're going to be looking at these qualifications. So we basically are looking at no trackers on the website, application, no cookies, and no Google Analytics use. We're going to be wanting to see if the company is responsive, if it's up to date and not sunset. And we're going to be looking for stuff like open source protocols like WireGuard. Now, WireGuard is a protocol that is designed by Jason Donenfeld. It's an extremely secure and fast protocol that most VPNs are using, but it's still a qualification we like, since some other VPNs like ExpressVPN do use closed source protocols, so it's a little bit iffy there. Finally, we have open source application, which is similar to the protocol, but using an open source application is kind of cool for transparency, although not a must have, since we are using open source protocol like WireGuard already. Additionally, we want to look for a third-party audit, see if some company has third-party audited, meaning that they've kind of come in from an outside party to look at the VPN security and make sure it's up to spec. We also are looking for 8.52 application score or higher according to the tier list, which means they have full compatibility and things that we want. Not any VPN actually gets it perfect, but some get higher, and 8.52 is around the highest we've seen out of around 10 or so. We also want to see if they've sold the company, if they've had any history of data leaks, if they've ever given away logs, and two-factor authentication. So that's pretty much the qualifications. Let's go ahead and see where each of these VPN kind of goes here. Now, specifically TorGuard, they do really, really well in most categories. The only thing they're missing is an open source application and a third-party audit. That said, they have tons of other good things. As mentioned here, they pretty much meet all the qualifications. Now, when is TorGuard going to be open source? I've asked the team and they said it's not a priority for them right now because they like to kind of focus on providing VPN use to restricted countries. I know they've been pouring a lot of resources into helping Iranian users, maybe even Chinese users. And TorGuard has always been one of those companies that does work pretty good in restricted countries, so there could be something to that. I think it does kind of provide more capability for spy agencies and countries to block a VPN use if the application is open source and easily seen. So it's something to kind of think about. Now, TorGuard does need a third-party audit. I'm not really sure why they've never done that, but so far it hasn't really been nothing really has been come out about them in terms of being unsecure or anything like that. They've never been hacked or anything like that, so their security still does seem top-notch, and they've been running in business for around, I think, like 10 years now. So yeah, they know what they're doing, but it still would be nice for transparency and privacy's sake. Next up, we have Hi.me. Now, Hi.me is not quite as fully fleshed out as TorGuard in the application department. I think they are missing some things. Namely, if we look at it, they don't have a Linux GUI quite yet. They're missing some ad blocking. And they could beef up some of their external support, maybe sell some routers with some custom software like TorGuard does. They don't have an open source application or dedicated IPs, although dedicated IPs isn't so much related to privacy. So that's really their kind of cons there. Overall, pretty solid. The good news is here they have a third-party audit. They've never sold the company, so that's really nice. Overall, a pretty private and secure VPN option in 2023. Next up, we have Proton, and this one is a little bit iffy here. Now, Proton does very well across the board. It's open source, third-party audit. The only thing it's missing out on is a truly high application score. They've been fleshing this out, I know, and I think they actually do have extensions here. So it looks like Proton finally added an extension, barely, I think, released within the last couple of weeks or so. I had actually made a video a couple of years ago where someone had made a fake Proton app that was malware, and I had to tell Proton's VPN's team to take it down. They didn't even know about it till I told them. So yeah, good thing I'm doing these reviews. Not sure why the score is not too good here. Connects quickly, but it doesn't work. Need to log in every time the browser. It's beta demis. Yeah, so like I said, it still seems like this one might not be fully fleshed out, but it's good to see it there. Actually, while we're doing this video, I will update that. I did get a comment notifying me that was released finally, so that's good. So 7.81 is their new score there. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with this story, Proton Mail, not ProtonVPN, but still the same company, at least in my opinion. I mean, it's the same company, same people working, or I don't know if it's the same people working on it, but it's the same overall company. They kind of are separate companies in a way. It kind of depends on how you want to look at it. Proton Mail, ProtonVPN. To me, they're all kind of the same thing, just kind of different services. They had an issue where they did give away IP address of a French activist. This created tons of controversy about the issue. It's interesting though, because this article talks about, if they had been using ProtonVPN, they wouldn't have been compelled to give up the IP. So it's kind of a muddy issue. I might just kind of like give them a pass here. I just thought it was worth mentioning because technically it wasn't ProtonVPN that gave it away. But there is kind of that concern with the other product, Proton Mail. So if you want to do some more research into that, that point alone will give them the highest score here, just to be clear. So with that, they do have the best score here. Really, the only thing they need to do is flesh out the application. So I'll be putting a link for Proton in the description and pinned comment if you guys want to check out that one, or TorGuard or Hi.me. I'll put links for there too if those sound better to you as well. And of course, they all have their individual niche kind of things with their services. But finally, we could kind of wrap up the video with Nord, PIA, private internet access, and Surfshark and Nord. Now, Nord and Surfshark are very good at certain things. Great user interfaces, great streaming compatibility, somewhat affordable pricing long term, and overall good user experiences and decent security. However, both Nord and Surfshark have their share of issues. Nord, kind of like Surfshark seemed to be like incubated by the same people who made NordVPN, but then it later came out that they were kind of merging. So for me, it kind of muddies the water a little bit on who kind of like owns them, or, you know, if they sold the company or not. So I'm not going to give them a point there just because I would have preferred more transparency early on in the beginning, but I don't think they technically sold their company as so much as merge. So it's kind of up to you there. I don't think I'm going to give it a point though, just for this video's sake. And then if we look at NordVPN, they did have some kind of issue a couple years back with a private key kind of being taken. The same issue was kind of similar to TorGuard and another VPN called Viking VPN, but it seemed like that Nord had stored the private key on a server, whereas TorGuard did not. So the compromised data center provider, it was an issue for Nord, but not so much for TorGuard. So NordVPN definitely did step up their security after that incident. Since then, they also got an audit. So that is one thing they've really kind of focused on. They don't have an open source app though. Neither Surfshark and Nord do. They're very similar in both of these respects. TorGuard, Surfshark hasn't really had that data vulnerability like NordVPN, however, but both of these have way too many trackers and cookies and Google Analytics on their websites. Same with PIA. Neither PIA, it's not open source either, and it did sell its company to Cape. So that's why these three are kind of lagging behind here from the main ones here. So honestly, ProtonVPN has the highest score. If it fleshed out its application a bit more, maybe finalize some of those issues people are having here with the extension, that would be really nice to see. Otherwise, it's doing very well. I just thought I should let you guys know about that issue with Proton Mail if you're using that, or that could influence your decision when choosing Proton. But it at least objectively in terms of score, it doesn't seem like an issue with Proton. ProtonVPN didn't give an IP address. Seems like it was Proton Mail. So TorGuard, very good in most respects, just needs to open source the application, which might not be in the pipeline since they kind of focus on unblocking firewalls in strict countries, which can be trickier to do if your application is open sources by agencies. I know ProtonVPN has its own stealth VPN, but I've heard it's not quite as effective as TorGuard. And yeah, so there you go. Overall, guys, those are my final thoughts. Proton, TorGuard, and Hide.me are all very private and secure and anonymous VPN providers. If you like this unbiased comparison, let me know down in the comments down below, and I'll see you again in another video very soon.